Hello, once again, ESB family. We are back with yet another episode of Empire State of Baseball. This is April 22nd of the year 2024, episode 81, airing on Twitch, X, YouTube, and powered by StreamYard. Well, everyone, you may notice that we have a tripod today instead of our typical quartet. Mr. Rich is out enjoying some fancy glasses of wine out on the West Coast. He should actually stop in San Fran and watch the Mets while he's out there. Mets have a night game tonight in San Francisco. So, gentlemen, it'll be the three of us for this fine evening. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. Rich insisted that he go out to California and go on a tour of the Oakland Coliseum before it closes. So Rich is out there. He says he's a wine country. I know he's out there touring the Oakland Coliseum right now. So, whoops, there's my light. But listen, you know, we'll roll with three tonight. I'm sure Tom's got some things to say about the Yankees, but he's gonna have to deal with two Met fans by himself today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if today couldn't get any worse with the Yankees' performance, I'm riding solo on the Yankee side, dealing with Corey and Joe. Corey obviously always being a saint and a treat, and then Joe being just the stub toe of a Met fan, just a pain in the butt to deal with.
But definitely looking forward to the show, though. Regardless, we'll have a good time. Do have some good participation in the chat already. Just a couple of minutes in, I see a lot of familiar faces. Swift's in there, Ghost in there, Real D, Chooch and Chill. That actually might be Rich logging in on the Chooch and Chill account. For those of you who may not know, Chooch and Chill was a Christmas special that we've hosted the last few years that Rich and Matt run there. Swift, howdy to you as well, Chris.
And we got Hitman up in the chat. Let's see. Is that what we got so far? I think that's what we got so far. But anybody, as everybody trickles in, we'll get in a little bit to what we have in store today. As we, if you bear with me, I have a little bit. Where is? And I lost the thing that Rich was supposed to have. Anyway, we're going to talk about a couple things today. The Yankees played today. The Mets had a good road trip out west and everything. But listen, if you're joining us here, we're live on multiple platforms right now. You can view us on Twitch, YouTube, and X, and you can like and share and subscribe to Empire State of Baseball on all three. But currently on YouTube, Aaron, we're just celebrating our giveaway, Aaron as well, and then we'll get into everything else then. So don't forget to subscribe on there. We're road to 300 at 291 subscribers on YouTube at this particular moment in time. So
let's get us to 300 by the end of the show. Let's make it happen.
Get to 300 by the end of the show.
Definitely possible.
That's the goal.
It's definitely possible. Hope we do get there. And as Joe alluded to, listen, we got a great show tonight too. We're going to start off first with the Empire Express, giving us the latest news in New York baseball for both the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. Our game segment is actually postponed tonight, and for very, very good reasons. It was going to be the season debut of Khore Kurriculum for those who listened in last year. Typically about once a month, our good buddy Khore came in and challenged us with some great questions. He actually got late tickets to the Knicks game tonight. So congratulations to Khore for getting those tickets to the game. Hopefully the Knicks pull off another win in game 2. So we're going to skip the game segment for tonight. That will return next week. Then we're going to dive into the City Connects. So some big news since the last time we met. The New York Mets did release their City Connect jerseys for this year. So we'll dive into that and the Nike uniforms in general a little later in the show. And again, the big segment for tonight, which was much anticipated and a week plus in the making, our 250 subscriber giveaway. So we will go ahead and reveal those winners later in the show.
Right here.
Yeah, we got a couple of really nice cards.
I should have printed out an envelope. I should have done it like we were in the Oscars. But listen, anyway, we'll get into it. Let's get into the Empire Express here. and let's cover a little bit of the New York Mets in the midst of their West Coast road trip. The Mets just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They lost the third game, had a little bit of a mismatch. Adrian Hauser versus Tyler Glasnow lost that 10-0. But anytime you can walk into Dodger Stadium and win 2 games, you are in good shape. And so the Mets did that. They start a 3-game series in San Francisco tonight at 9:45. For those of you staying up, unfortunately, I will be staying up for that and sacrifice my future Joe self tomorrow. But overall, the Mets find themselves 12-9, 2.5 games back of the red-hot Atlanta Braves. No surprise in the Phillies, who just beat up on 2 bad teams in a row. But the Mets are right in the thick of it, and so far, so good for them.
No, 100%. I definitely have to love it. And it really is the tale of 2 years for the Mets. And you go back, that first week at the very end of March and the first week of April couldn't have gone worse. 0-5. The way they lost some of those games, too, was upsetting. They had a couple of losses in the 11th inning when they failed to score. The offense looked bad. Pitching was okay. But then the bullpen was giving it up in the extra innings. And all of a sudden, ever since that, when they dropped the first 2 series, they've won 5 straight series. And listen, you can say what you want. When they swept the Pirates earlier in the week, Pirates at the time above 500, they are starting to come back down to earth and are 500 now. I don't expect them to be over 500 at season's end. But 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I mean, like you said, Joe, you sign up for that every single time. And obviously, the loss yesterday was a lopsided one, but get that one out of the way. You know what? You want to have one absolutely terrible game, that's fine. Ultimately, I would sign up for 2 of 3 on the West Coast in that particular matchup there. And looking at the team statistics again, that ERA still looking nice there, second with a nice 3.48 team ERA. And the starters have started to come a little bit down to earth, but the bullpen. And Tom, I want to get your thoughts here on the bullpen too. I mean, Edwin Diaz, talk about coming back from that injury last year, suffering the World Baseball Classic, and he looks just like the guy he was, and is proving why we ranked him number 1 in our reliever segment earlier this year.
And I'm happy that I drafted him in one of my fantasy leagues. He's putting up some good points for me. And yeah, there was a question, right, of putting him number 1 after him not pitching all year, and it's not like there's a bunch of losers and chumps behind him, and he has proven that we were right. As usual, we were right, and he is returning to be the best reliever in baseball, to be a weapon. And a team like the Mets that are winning with pitching right now, they're probably going to be in a lot of close games, and if you're going to be in a lot of close games, you need a good closer to close it out, and that's what they got. Things I wish the Yankees had right now.
I think the biggest worry for the Mets right now is the injury bug kind of hit them over the weekend and was kind of the damper on the good series in Los Angeles. Francisco Alvarez out 6 to 8 weeks with a torn UCL in his thumb, in his non-throwing hand. But unfortunately, as a catcher, you need your non-throwing hand. You need your thumb on your left hand. That probably takes a lot more abuse than most other positions do, aside from swinging the bat. And then Brooks Raley goes on the IL. Hopefully that will only be a 2-week stint with some left elbow inflammation. Of course, he is a left-handed pitcher, so that hurts. And he's been fantastic this year out of the bullpen for the Mets. The Mets have that really good bullpen. But, at the end of the day, the Mets are playing competitive, good, hard baseball, and that's what you want to see. You don't expect to sweep the Dodgers, so we'll give up that game from yesterday. But at the end of the day, that's what you'll take from that. As we move over to the Yankees side of the coin, the Yankees played a 1 o'clock Monday game today, part and due to the holiday for those celebrating the holiday of Passover for our Jewish friends as over wherever you may be. So the Yankees played a nice early game today, lost 2-0 to the Oakland Athletics of all teams on a 2-run homer by Zach Gelof. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Don't care.
Gelof in the 9th inning, and the Yankees offense all of a sudden is starting, after that really hard start, is starting to look a little anemic at times. Tom, I'm sure you got some thoughts on what's been going on with the Yankee offense.
I think this is their 4th time getting shut out this season already. And for a team that should have a pretty potent lineup, it's as Joe Girardi used to say, it's not what you like to see. It's not what you like there. Listen, their offense has been horrible as of late. If your name is not Juan Soto or Oswaldo Cabrera, Verdugo's also, I think he's producing, and Stan's actually kind of been, in and out. But the big elephant, $340 million in the room, Judge has been terrible this year. And I know there was a lot of talk on Yankee Twitter past couple of days. He got booed the other day after striking out, I think, for his 3rd or 4th time. Listen, personally, as a fan, I don't like to boo guys unless they're showing a seemingly lack of effort out there, or if they're just, not making it, seems like they're not making adjustments. I personally wouldn't boo Judge. I think it's right. It's fair to boo him if he's batting like 190. I think he will rebound, but you do have to have some of the questions about, he was hurt during spring training, came back, looked good when he came back in spring training, and he's been off. He's like, every at bat, it seems like he's getting a pitch to hit and he's just missing it, or he's not, he's either fouling it back or just not getting really good wood on. He's getting good swings. It's just something seems off with him. Volpe, since moving up to the leadoff spot, has been dreadful. He's been very bad. I don't think it's necessarily because he's in the leadoff spot, but boy, has he been bad for a little while now, even though his overall statistics might not look as bad because he was hitting like 500 like a week into the season. Rizzo hasn't been good. Glaber's been pretty dreadful. The catching situation has not been good. Even though Trevino had a big hit the other day to drive in a run. So really, other than like Soto and Oswaldo, no one is hitting. And I'll throw Verdugo in there too. I think Verdugo's been solid. I really like what I've seen out of him with that different approach. It's been tough, and the pitching's been good, but they can't score. And JP Sears is not, he's not Justin Verlander. He's a former Yankee. He has some talent, but he's not a guy who should just be absolutely mowing you down, especially a lefty against a team that has some really good righty hitters. I don't know. It's early, right? It's still early, but they've been in this kind of like slide since Toronto. They lost 2 or 3 in Toronto. Then they went home and they won 2 out of 3 from Tampa, but it was all came like in a couple innings of those games, and now you lose 2-0 to
Tampa. Tampa gave the game away. I mean, yeah. Credit to Soto for hitting the ball to Yonkers.
I was at a wedding that night, and that came on, and I was showing every single person that went. And I look at what Juan Soto just did. It was incredible. But minus that,
but Tampa gave him the they should have been out of that inning. There was 2 ground balls that should have been fielded.
Even
was a problem.
Beyond that, Tampa had like 14 hits or something that day. Like, what was it? It was insane. Tampa had in that game 14 hits. They scored 3 runs. That is horrible.
A lot of singles.
But I mean, I don't know, man. It's. I don't think we're quite in as a couple years ago where the Yankees really felt like fool's gold. I think they're better than that. Their starting pitching's been really good. The bullpen now is starting to be a bit of a question mark with some of these other guys coming in as the injuries have come along, but they should be getting some bigger names back as the season goes on. I don't know. It's frustrating, man. You losing 2-0 to Oakland is just,
that one hurts.
What are we doing, Pop?
That one, to lose to Oakland in general, but 2-0, like you said, definitely not fun. But listen, end of the day, I know it's been a rough little stretch. About 500 in the last 10 games. If not for a couple of Soto miracles, would have been a little worse. But ultimately, at the end of the day, listen, there's 7 games over 500. They were not going to maintain that phenomenal start that they had in the first 10 games or so of the season, too. I mean, they were really playing out of this. But listen, they're still right now 7 games over 500, tied with the Orioles at the top of the division. Actually, the Orioles, if you want to go by winning percentage, technically are first, but no games back for the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees did play 2 extra games. So listen, they're going to be right there. We know the Orioles and the Yankees are probably going to be battling. I could see those two teams swapping the lead throughout the season too. But overall for the Yankees, listen, the main thing is they need some of these bats to wake up, like a Judge, like a Gleyber Torres. I mean, you hit it on the head earlier. Like these guys, they simply just got to wake up. And if you would have told me that at this point of the season, Giancarlo Stanton has more home runs than Gleyber and Judge combined, I would have been absolutely shocked. But Stanton's actually not having a terrible year. You're happy to see him playing and putting up some numbers. But ultimately, if in that lineup, if not for Gleyber and not for Judge performing, you're going to have some clunkers. But at least from a Soto standpoint, I mean, he is, talk about living up to the hype, man. Soto has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's the early case for AL MVP if this continues.
Who are we most concerned about as a Yankee fan? Are we most concerned about Judge? Are we most concerned about Gleyber? Or are we most concerned about Rizzo as far as the lineup is concerned?
That's a tough question because I think there's something nagging Judge, and I believe he will get it turned around. Rizzo is worrying though, because I know he was supposedly all cleared from everything with the concussion last year, but I think we talked a little bit about last week too. His defense has been bad. Like he's been not. Anthony Rizzo is a world-class defensive first baseman. He's a guy that if the ball's thrown in the dirt, you expect him to pick it. He is that kind of guy, and he hasn't been doing that. There's some funky plays in Toronto, just like weird stuff. He still seems a little bit off.
He's getting older. Listen, I thought Torres obviously had shot up after last season. Torres has to drive you insane. Because I said I've always been cautionary with Torres. I always said you can't trust him. He's one of the reasons that the Yankees have never reached their potential, because he himself has never reached that potential. He was supposed to be the heart of the order bat with Judge, and man, he goes off the best season into a free agent walk year where he's due to make a big contract, and he just makes you want to bang your head against the wall sometimes. Like I just don't get it with him.
His approach can be frustrating. He's a guy that I wish he would. And I'm not saying I don't know if he's not, but there's a lot in the chat about Gleyber having some injury. I don't know. I mean, he's basically played almost every game this year. So I don't think he's too banged up. I wish he would like do what Oswaldo was doing, is just like, I'm going to watch Juan Soto and how Juan Soto hits, and I'm going to try to emulate that. And you're not going to be exactly Juan Soto. But I mean, in the terms of like Juan Soto, I forget what we said about it on the show last week, but there was like Meredith did an interview with him, and it was like, just the left field bleachers or the right field stands, is that like just call out to you as left-handed hitter? And he said, no, I hit the ball where it's pitched. If it's outside, I hit it that way. If it's inside up, I pull it. That's what I do. Gleyber sometimes gets pull happy, and he has the ability to go to all fields, and that's what he was good at last year, and cutting down his swing and just taking his hits. And it seems like he's getting away from that again, and I don't get it. Again, like just like watch what like the approach that Soto has. And you're not going to be Juan Soto, but have that kind of approach of like see the ball, hit a line drive, don't swing out of your shoes. And you'll get results. It is frustrating, but I do also believe he can rebound. Where if we're talking about who do I think is not going to who is the biggest chance to not rebound, I would say Rizzo.
Well, Rizzo's getting older, but I'll pose another question to you and the Yankee fans in the chat. Do you think the time is coming where switching Judge and Soto in the lineup to help get Judge going might be prudent? And then you can slide in Verdugo at leadoff if Volpe is continuing to struggle in that position. Would you make that switch now?
I don't know what it's going to do, because I said Judge is getting pitches. He's getting there's been almost every at bat. He's you're facing major league pitchers, right? They're not going to throw you 92 mile an hour fastballs down the middle every time. Like you're going to get one or two pitches at bat to hit, and if your timing is good and everything is good, you're gonna hit those pitches. And it seems like he's not doing it right now. I mean, look, Volpe is getting all the protection in the world with Soto hitting behind him, and Volpe's been horrendous. And I'm not comparing exactly Volpe to Judge, but I mean, look, Volpe should be still hitting
Yeah.
400. They should only be throwing him strikes because God forbid you don't want him on base in front of Soto, and then because you don't then want to walk Soto and have 2 hours guys on for Judge. So I don't know. I think that's another popular thing to say, but what else do you want? He's not getting pitched around. He's especially because Stanton as they've been moving Stanton behind him. Stanton's been hitting enough that you're not just going to intentionally walk Judge. So I don't think that does anything.
I do like the potential move, though. I actually really like the proposal, Joe, going with Verdugo 1, Judge 2, Soto 3. Again, Judge, when he had that season with the record, I mean, he hit 2 most of the year, right? And now you're going to give him the protection of Soto right behind them. I mean, I like it. It also helps the lefty-righty. Again, I think lefty-righty has become a little overrated, but the Yankees have the ability to do that pretty well if they're going to do Verdugo, Judge, Soto, let's say Stanton, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not bad now. I would make the change.
I wouldn't mind Verdugo leading off. I really want to, if you're going to do that. I think he's getting on base. He's taking his walks. He puts the ball in play. And Sierra said it in the chat too. I said, and Rich as well, that we did not want to see Volpe leading off when they moved him up there. Now, part of it they kind of had to because Gleyber was struggling so much. You kind of had to put someone else there.
Not a leadoff hitter. Let's be real.
He can be. I think Gleyber Torres has the ability to be a leadoff hitter, but he hasn't been great. If he was the Gleyber Torres of last year, he'd be a fine leadoff hitter. I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of seem off right now, and it seems like they're like a lot of teams, like they're just the momentum is not there, and it's like if Soto doesn't hit a home run, it's like, well, we're gonna lose. It's like how it was a couple years ago. If Judge doesn't hit a home run, we lose.
Yeah,
exactly. It feels like listen, the right move in the lineup is to have Soto 2, Judge 3. That's the right move. Soto gets on base. He gives Judge more opportunity to hit with traffic in front of him. I'm not saying that long-term that's the solution, but maybe in order to get Judge just a couple more pitches to hit, whatever that is, whether it's marginal or not, knowing that Soto is behind him affects the way you're going to pitch to Judge more so than it is when Stanton, Rizzo, or Gleyber's behind him. I think that's just inherent. So if it gets Judge going, I would make the switch, even if it's only for a week or two. And then once Judge seems more comfortable than he is in the box, you can switch them back. But at the same time,
I mean, listen, if JP Series is throwing 94-mile-an-hour fastballs down the middle of the plate and Judge isn't hitting them, what else do you want? He's been bad. He's been very bad this year, and I think he can recover and he can get himself back to respectable numbers, but he's been horrible.
Listen,
and the thing would, sorry, go ahead.
And listen, regardless of all that, you can't be booing Judge. I mean, this guy, you have a right to boo. I get that. Of all the people to boo, Judge is not the right. If Judge is hurt or he's uncomfortable or he's having a bad 3 weeks, you can't be booing Aaron Judge. You also can't be booing Aaron Judge when you're in first place.
Yankee fans have booed Derek Jeter. They've booed Mariano Rivera. I think if the Yankees wheeled up Babe Ruth's corpse and he messed something up, they'd boo him too. That's just how Yankee fans are. But my favorite things I saw on Twitter is Yankee fans boo because they want to cheer for people, right? Like the Yankee fans want to do nothing more than stand up and cheer for Judge after getting a big hit or hitting a home run. They're frustrated that he's not doing what he's not living up to his expectations.
I get all that, but you want boo Gleyber? Fine. Gleyber's a free agent after this year. Who knows if he's going to ever be a Yankee after this year? Whatever it is, you want boo Stanton, who's basically a human.
Hey, boo Stanton. Don't worry, he gets his fair share.
Oh yeah,
a human bulldozer on the base paths. You want boo him? Fine. He's taking up $28 million of your payroll and giving you no production for it. You want boo Rizzo, who can't hit anything at the moment. That's fine. You don't boo the captain that's making $345 million, that's hit 62 home runs for you, that has been literally the only thing that has stopped your franchise from going into the gutter the last few years. Like, you can't boo that guy. That just I don't know.
They booed Jeter.
Same with Cole. You can't boo Cole unless Cole just has 7 or 8 awful starts when he comes in.
Like I said, I wouldn't boo him. I personally wouldn't boo him. I'll boo guys. You know, the stuff that we saw with like Hicks, with like it seemed like it'd be lack of effort. I'll boo that. But you know, Judge just seems like he's doing. You know, he sounds like little league stuff, but he's trying his best out there. It's not like he's out there giving poor effort. It's not coming through. So I wouldn't boo him, but I understand how fans would, and they're in their right to boo him if he's doing. Trust me, they will be so excited if tomorrow if Judge leaves off the game with a home run tomorrow or hits I mean, the whole stadium is gonna be electric because they want to boo because they love him. They just want him to be better.
Again, and somebody said it in the chat, nobody's above criticism. I'm not saying that anybody's above criticism, but I'm saying while you're in first place 3 weeks into the season, it's a little early to be booing your captain who's hit 62 home runs and won an MVP for you.
Some teams have high expectations, Joe.
And re-signed with you when San Francisco was trying to offer him more money. Of all the guys, pick a different
and they're not, but they're also not booing him first. There's a difference between first inning boos and striking out 4 times and you get booed on your way back to the dugout. There is a difference between that, and he's not getting booed. He's not getting Aaron Hicks when Aaron Hicks' name would be. So Yankee fans, if they saw Aaron Hicks' name written on a lineup card, if Aaron Hicks was the answer to the match game, they would boo Aaron Hicks. That's how it's not. They're not doing that. They're booing after you struck out 4 times.
I get that. The guy's the captain. Listen, if he continues this into July, obviously he's going to hear it. Like I just think we're way early into the season for trying to boo him.
Hopefully he corrects that. Hopefully he corrects that himself.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, ultimately, too, with Aaron Judge, again, it's only 22 games into the season, and why it's more amplified now is because it's April. So because it's April, the beginning of the year, your numbers are either inflated in a positive or negative way when you're either really hot or really struggling. So in Judge's case, really struggling, it looks rough. But if this was the middle of June, we would just call it's a June swoon, whatever it is, what it is. It's amplified now because of April. But I mean, you want to talk with Judge, he's going to turn it around. All right. Take all his seasons out where he played 100 plus games, right? We're only going to exclude 2016. He only played 27 games anyway when he first came up. And we'll exclude 2020 COVID shortened season. All right. Every other season where he played 100 plus, his lowest OPS was 891. Outside of that year, it's either been 900 or 1,000 with OPS. All right. So right now, his OPS of 674, it's not going to be anywhere near 674. At worst, he'll be in the 800s. He'll probably end up closure in the 900 range when it's all said and done. But it's still early. And talking about the booing, too, maybe they have to do what the Mets fans did with Lindor, because for those who may not have followed that, Lindor had another one. Superstar player playing really, really poorly, and the numbers are amplified because it's so early. But he was hitting like 50 after 10 days to start the season, and he was starting to get some boos himself. And then the Mets fans rallied on Twitter. They gave him like a little mini ovation. He's actually woke up. His batting average now is closer to the Mendoza line. I think 188 roughly. He's got multiple hits in his last 4 games. So Lindor starting to wake up. Listen, good players are going to wake up. I'm not worried about Judge. The one that's a little more unfortunate to me is Gleyber, especially because coming off of this offseason too, there was a lot of debate, and we did it on this show too, a lot of proposals about potentially moving Gleyber, getting some pieces back, freeing up an infield spot for some of these other infielders. I know one of them, we have a card giveaway later in the show. So that one's a little more frustrating because now you've lost that trade opportunity if the value's not there. It is what it is, but Judge is going to wake up. I'm not worried about Judge. He's going to hit closer to 900 OPS. He's not going to be sitting around at that 675 mark much longer.
All right. Well, that will end it for the Empire Express. Tom, why don't you tell us about our friends over at Rhoback?
Would love to, Joseph. I would love to tell you about our friends at Rowback. You can see I got the nice quarter zip on today. Corey representing the Rowback polo. The I want to say it's the white dogwood, might be named part of the Azalea collection.
The Azalea collection.
The Azalea collection Masters has come and gone, but they still got some of that stuff up in the shop. And listen, I know you've been, if you've been listening to the show, you know about Rowback, but if you haven't, let me tell you, Rowback makes the world's most comfortable polos, Q-zips, hoodies. They make a lot of really awesome women's stuff as well. My wife loves. She has some Q-zips. She has some joggers. They make shorts. They just came out with some new bathing suits. So listen, if Rowback has definitely their roots in the golf game, but if you are not a golfer, they have again a ton of comfortable things for you. Head over to rowback.com. Use promo code TWASPL15 to get 15% off your first order. I mentioned a few weeks ago they had just so happened to come out with a polo that is baseball bats. It is blue and gray, and it might be called the Bleacher Creature. So if you are a Yankee fan, that is just screaming your name. A lot of, again, fun stuff, bright colors, if that's what you're into. If you want some more, not so bright, not so much patterns, they have some like striped options, striped, solids, heathered stuff. Head over to rowback.com. Use promo code TWASPL15 to get yourself 15% off your first order, as long as you have not used that email address with them before.
Okay, so we'll get into our next segment. Our next segment was supposed to be Khore's Curriculum, which a lot of you are not familiar with, which is kind of a unique trivia game. But Khore got last-minute tickets to a playoff game today, so obviously that takes priority over us. So he's not here today. So instead, we will touch on Aaron Boone getting ejected today. So Tom obviously was watching the game and saw what happened. John Boy Media did a nice breakdown or kind of hot micing a video.
Yes, did a lot of hot micing. Let me tell you that much. Yeah, yes is going to get some FCC complaints, I think, because of what happened. I'm sure Yankee fans out there saw. But first at bat of the game, Rodon hit. Was it Ruiz, that their leadoff hitter, hit him in the foot? I don't know why Boone was arguing about it. It like very clearly hit him in the foot, and that's what initially got Boone kind of fired up. Boone, as it tends to do, kind of keeps chirping from the dugout. Hunter Weddlestat, who was the umpire behind the plate today, said, "Hey, you're done. One more word out of you, and I'm tossing you." Yes did an incredible job of showing camera angles of Boone, quite literally looking at looking at my nails, like I'm not saying anything here.
Yep.
A fan behind him yells something, which I'm hoping was part of the breakdown. I haven't got to watch the John Boy breakdown yet. And when else that tosses him, and Boone loses his mind. F-bombs galore. And what is really damning, and we've been seeing some bad umpiring. Anyway, what else that was horrible umpiring the game anyway today. But saying, I don't care who said it, you're tossed. It's a bad look for umpires. And, it seems like the umpiring has gotten worse and worse. Again, outside of that, what else that was horrible today? There was a pitch that Rodon struck out one of the A's out that I think was a foot outside. It was like a foot outside, and he called it strike three. It was terrible. He was doing a horrible job umpiring. I don't know how you even get around it. Then even like compounds it, makes it worse. Is the reporters got to talk to him after the game, and he basically said, like, I don't care who said it. Boone's in charge of the team. I don't know how much if they pressed him on saying, but it wasn't someone on the team, it was a fan. What is Boone? Is Boone responsible for the fans in the front row to make sure? And then what's stopping like, hey, if I don't say an A's fan sitting behind the dugout, because that's not gonna happen. But let's say it's a Yankee Met game. What if Joe is behind the dugout and he's just yelling? He's yelling at the ump. He's yelling at Angel Hernandez, and then Angel Hernandez tosses Boone, and it's all because of Joe. It's something Joe would do. Let's be honest. So it's just terrible. At the very least, I hope Boone doesn't get fined, because he didn't do anything to get tossed. And just, it's frustrating. I mean, again, it didn't matter today.
Apparently, Wendelstedt said that there was a player chirping from the end of the dugout, which I don't have any proof of whether that's true or not, but it looks like the fan in the front row, which must have had this similar tone of voice as Aaron Boone or one of the coaches, got him tossed. Listen, the umps have a tendency to sometimes make the game about themselves on occasion. This was one of them where for the first inning, I mean, that's as short of a leash as you can have. And you also got to understand, like, who's actually talking to you. If Boone is not talking to you and you're tossing them, like, it's just a bad look. So,
I mean, and the video showed it immediately. You almost wish, like, the replay room could have, like buzzed down and like, hey, like Boone, you can't toss Boone for that. This is, like, you just can't do it. I don't know. I will say, and this is why he should get tossed. Boone is a complainer. Boone chirps umpires all game, and know that you shouldn't just get tossed for that. But I do think Boone and just kind of general players have, you see this even across all sports, they've gotten even more and more, like, the relationship between umps or referees and all sports and players keeps getting worse and worse. And I feel like, I'm not saying not defending umps and referees, but, like, at some point they're probably like, I can't deal with this anymore. So I'm gonna toss you. My only repercussion is to toss you from the game. But if you're gonna do it, at least be sure who said it.
Yeah, I know it's definitely not a good look for MLB baseball with the umpire situation. And umpires in baseball are very similar to offensive linemen in football. The more they're talking about you, it's not for good reason. So umpires have been in the news a lot lately. I know a lot of the people in the chat agreeing with that too. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But the umpires are making a case to have robotic umps. So I don't know what it is in that situation, but it was pretty comical today.
What I found interesting is part of the later in the broadcast, John Flaherty was doing the color commentary, and he was talking about how in the past, as long as if an ump was consistent, players didn't really complain, right? So if the ump was giving 2 inches off the plate, but he was giving 2 inches off the plate to both teams, players didn't really complain. They adjust it. And it seems like players now, they have such a good understanding of the strike zone, and there's so much replay in the cameras, and they know exactly if a ball is a strike or is not. And they don't care if he's been calling that all game. They will immediately kind of fight back on it. And I don't know. I mean, the ump should be better, but, like, I think some of that makes it worse is now that it's so easy for players and managers, in between innings to say, like, Boone gets called out for this a lot. He'll say, like, he'll be yelling, like, you missed it last inning. I went and looked at it. And at some point it's like, what's the ump going to do? Like, it's like, okay, well, like, I don't know. They're bad. They need to be better. The robo umps, I think, will hopefully resolve a lot of these issues, because it is becoming the ump show at times, and it's annoying.
Listen, I mean, umpiring is a thankless job. When you're great, nobody acknowledges it. When you're awful, everybody wants to scream and yell about the umpires. So, for me, I was raised on baseball being, especially with the strike zones being sort of ambiguous. It was, we were told it was chest high to your knees, and that it changed for each batter. It's less so that way now. The umps do not have an easy job, and now keeping track with the pitch timer and everything like that. So I get it. But first inning ejection, that's too quick to the trigger. You gotta let the game play out, unless something was said that was,
he didn't even say it. It wasn't even him,
and it wasn't even him.
That's the bad part.
Yeah, I mean that's the crazy part. So
Boone's got injected the first inning plenty of times, and sometimes he does deserve it, but you got to be sure.
It was comical today.
Boone is in this day and age where ejections are limited. Boone, as far as managers is concerned, is usually one of the more vocal of the managers out there, which is surprising, all things considered. But he is one of the few. So maybe he's had a reputation, and some of the umps have less patience.
I think that is what it is with him at this point. And again, I don't think that gives them the right to just toss him, but I think he has a reputation of being a whiner, being a complainer, being a chirper, and umps in some ways like to thinking about themselves and they toss them.
Either way, it'd be nice for MLB or the umpires union to turn around and say, hey, listen, we made a mistake. Obviously, the fan sounded like Aaron Boone. You're not going to get that. Boone's still going to have to pay his fine. The umpire will probably get reprimanded quietly away from the public eye.
Under the radar.
It'd be nice to say, hey, this one's our bad, and try and tell MLB, hey, don't fine him. He shouldn't have been ejected. That one's on us. But they're not going to do that, and that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. So. Yep. And the one thing I do like too on X, you get every once in a while they have those accounts that show the umpire scorecard. So
I love
I always
that.
find that interesting.
Scorecard. There's somebody the other night that missed one pitch and it was like barely nicked the zone and called the ball. So
I want to see if his is up for today because his accuracy had to be horrible.
Had to be bad.
So,
and then, Tom, while you're looking up that, Joe, why don't you tell the crowd how to follow us on X?
Yes. You can follow us on X and over our 3,000 followers. I think we're approaching 3,100 at ESB Podcast on X. Rich does not have a graphic for X. It's just the ticker. So you can follow us there at ESB Podcast. You can also follow our two subsidiary accounts at ESB NYM and at ESB NYY, which we live tweet during the games when we can. You can get more direct Yankee and Met coverage instead of playing the back and forth on the main channel. And then you can also follow us personally, myself at JR Pugs, Corey at G Gory, and Tom at T Wospil. You can also follow Rich, who decided not to show up to work today.
Don't follow
Rich J. Rivera. You don't have to follow him. He's fine. At Rich J. Rivera. We also are interactive on Twitter Spaces. I know I joined one the other day with Keith and some of the boys on the Mets side. Rich and a couple of the guys, Ghost, Hitman, and the rest of them do some spaces on occasion as well. So you can follow us all there, interact with us on a daily basis. And don't forget, hit that like, subscribe, and all that stuff. So, all right, we'll get into the next segment of our show, which is going to be the City Connect jerseys. The Mets debuted their City Connect jerseys over the weekend. I think it was last, Friday, that they debuted their City Connect jerseys. And I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
For the City Connect jerseys that have been a hot topic of conversation. Some people love them. Some people hate them. From all the different teams that they've come through, the Mets debuted theirs, and they went a little bit different, a little bit of blend of old school with city vibes. But I don't know what you guys think. I think the Mets did a pretty good job here overall. And, you know, if you paid attention to some of the details on it, they really look like they tried all out on this one.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I was a little scared, I'll be honest, when they announced that they were going to have a City Connect jersey, because most of them I do not like. Now, is this a Serpientes? No. Serpientes is the top of these City Connects. Is it a Washington Cherry Blossom? No, that's number 2. That's 1A and 1B right there. But I do think this could be a top 5 City Connect jersey. Again, most of them are bad. Top 5 are probably really good. The rest of them, not good at all. So I do think the Mets did a pretty good job. In addition to the jersey, they actually have a lot of good merchandise related to the City Connect too. I actually ordered the hoodie, which has the
hoodie
NYC.
Nice, Corey.
Really nice hoodie. I went ahead and ordered that for like $80. I needed another hoodie anyway, so that was great. It has the same thing, the purple and New York symbol, like the subway style symbol on the sleeve. Love that a lot. The bomber jacket too. I didn't see that in the store, but I saw that they were wearing it online.
Alex Cohen was wearing it.
Alex Cohen was wearing it. That was really cool. So a lot of good merchandise. It's possible maybe at some point, if it's a gift, maybe I'll get a jersey too. But the hoodie was really nice. I had to go for that too. So overall, I'm pretty happy.
I really wish they would have done gray pants to go along with it. I think gray pants, and continuing the like the pinstriping that they have would make the jerseys better. I think with white pants, it's a little bit of a weird look, but I do like the jersey. I know a common thing I saw on Twitter was they wish they would have, instead of doing NYC, to do something with Queens across the chest, kind of representing the borough more than just putting NYC. But I think that's, I guess, to each his own on that. But I like the hat too. I think it's cool. They kind of kept it simple. They put the bridge behind it. A little upset that my theory of some Gotham Dark Knight jerseys, because they had the bridge from Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
If they would have said Gotham on the front of it, that would have been awesome. DC doesn't own the term Gotham, so like I think they actually could use that. And that would have been cool.
That would have been nice.
But yeah, I think overall, like you said, like as far as City Connects go, it's about is the best you can hope for. Just why not match the pants? Great pants.
No, I mean, listen, the pants obviously. I don't mind the white. I think it looks good with the trim around the NYC. I really like that token on the side.
I do too.
That's great.
Nice touch.
The detail on the inside of the hat, having the map of the subway system. You can tell when effort is put into something and when effort isn't put into something. And the Mets clearly put effort into this. They took it seriously. They went through the details. They sold out online almost immediately. And it goes to show you, whereas teams that mail it in, the San Francisco Giants, I think, mailed it in.
Cincinnati.
All the California teams mailed it in. The Dodgers were the worst offender in that, where they put the Los Dodgers or something on there, and that was it. And with the blue pants, it was basically the same thing. You can tell when a team has put effort into something. And I think that was the biggest thing was the Mets showed that they cared about this, that they thought that this was a big moment for them this year, that this was something that the fans could embrace and have some fun with, regardless if you love it, you're lukewarm on it. It's different. I think that's great. And listen, I'll ask Tom this question. Do you think with the success of the launch by the Mets doing the City Connect jerseys, the Yankees might opt in for next year and do one, being that they're the only other franchise aside from the Oakland A's not to have one?
No, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think that they care about any other team's success. The Yankees, God, it's annoying because they'll hold their the facial hair policy and the jerseys and the pinstripes and no names on the back with such high regard. But then they'll stick a Star Insurance tab and add on their sleeve. So it's like you won't desecrate the jersey by putting a name on it, which I don't think they should do that either. But then you put a Star Insurance ad on the sleeve, which is what would be worse, putting again a player's name or doing an alternate kind of jersey. This is something we came up with last year, where Rich and I were kind of spitballing if they would have done some like a graffiti style. Listen, Rich and I are not graphic artists, so this was maybe not the best effort, but we kind of were thinking of on that kind of graffiti idea. The one thing I was kind of bouncing around, the one alternate jersey I'm sure you all have heard me talk about. I wish the Yankees would do, what I'm going to say, a creamy boy jersey to do with the cream colored pinstripes. I think that would be awesome. I wonder if the Yankees would ever consider, probably not, because again, the Yankees and they don't like that fun. Like instead of the NY logo, to do like a BX, like an interlocking BX logo.
Okay.
That'd be
put
cool.
That on a jersey.
Yeah.
Even if you put that on a pinstriped kind of jersey, maybe do a BX hat. They've been doing the Rep BX Twitter hashtag for past couple of years. Add a little bit of flair to it. I think that's as far as they go. The one of my initial thoughts when I saw the Mets jersey was like, wow, that's as far as I ever could see the Yankees going. Like the Mets didn't do anything wild. Like we saw some teams like San Diego, what Miami did. There's teams that really kind of and to varying success, they really kind of pushed it. The Mets didn't really push it. They did something pretty safe, but cool. It fits New York City. It's a good design, and I thought like, man, I could see the Yankees almost doing this, but now they can't because the Mets did it. You can't just like do the same kind of design. So then it leaves you like, what could they do? They could just do the blue jersey with the pinstripes. There's old New York jerseys, those old Yankee jerseys that have like the N and the Y on either side. Maybe they go that way, but I honestly just don't think they will. I think the Yankees Yankees don't like having fun. They
Uh-huh.
they are they you go to watch the game and to just that's it. There's no mascot. There's no other stuff there. As you go, it's a baseball team. You go
All
and you watch the
business.
baseball team win. It's business. They mean the stadium. It's very it can be very sterile and very corporate, and that's what the Yankees are, and that's why they're not going to do something fun.
And it drives me nuts because you mentioned the Star insurance patches. When the Yankees are charging you $15 extra to put the patch on the jersey, and let me tell you something. If you are one of those guys that paid $15 extra to put a Star insurance jersey patch on your jersey because, bro, it's the same threads as Judge and Soto got, so I got to get it too.
I don't think anyone has done that.
Be ejected from the stadium on a rail tied to the first subway car, and you hit the barrier with you as the airbag.
I think
should happen if you buy that insurance patch.
I think what the Yankees need to be reminded of is that sports are entertainment, and you know what can be kind of fun is doing doing some different jerseys, because you know what, I've said this before, it gets the kids excited. Just because you, as you know, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, and you might not like it because you want them just to wear the pinstripes and you want them to wear just the road grays, and that's all that they ever do. Like 8-year-olds think it's really cool. I bet there's 8-year-olds that see that Mets jersey and they're like, wow, that's cool. I want to watch the Mets, because 8-year-olds are dumb and they say, like, I want to watch a team because they have cool jerseys. Because you know what? All of us were dumb 8-year-olds at some point. And it's possible. I know I have plenty of friends who it's like, hey, you're a fan of this random football team. Why is that? I liked their jerseys when I was a little kid, and I've stuck with them ever since. So
I had 20 teams jerseys when I was in middle school.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying the Yankees should see how successful the Mets City Connect program was. I mean, that was the buzz on Thursday. I mean, it was all about the City Connect jerseys, and it benefited the Mets because the Mets didn't play till 10 o'clock at night or whatever it was. That was a great reveal for the Mets because they had the story of the day, and they sold out in so little time. They sold out in an hour.
Well, to be fair, let's not give them a ton of credit for that. It also could be Fanatics being absolute garbage and probably not making enough. So there's that possibility as well. Let's throw that out there. But the jerseys are awesome.
But still, you're assuming that you have a decent amount. They even made an in-store MLB store exclusive, of which we had the jersey up, of a Japanese Senga jersey, which was unbelievably cool marketed.
Yeah.
With his name in Japanese. And I think if the Yankees are looking at this and saying, if we were ever going to do it, to watch the Mets do it successfully and basically make it an event for their fans, I think that's a great thing. And if the Yankees turn around and say, okay, we can put some effort into this, we can come out for a few months, spend some time, come up with a good heritage-like jersey that represents us, I think the Yankees will do well by that, and it just shows that they're willing to go out of their comfort zone and have some fun from time to time.
Well, like I said, I don't think I want them to do the cream-colored pinstripe jersey with the NY, and I think the Yankees look at that as being blasphemous. I just don't think there's a chance until the Steinbrenners don't own the team that they would do that. And there's
a lot of ways too. You could add nice detail to it. I mean, you want to talk about detail, like the lower sleeve here. You could put like the arches around the whole thing. And something like that would be cool. There's so many different ways.
There's a lot of cool stuff they could do that they won't do.
Yep, 100%.
It's a shame because I think it'd be cool, and I think if you could find a way to do a brighter or whiter version. Mets and Yankees could wear them next year for a Subway Series and have a City Connect Day for a Subway Series game. I think that would be awesome.
That would be fun.
And you could do something like that. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right. Tom, tell us about Instagram.
Sure, I would love to tell you about Instagram. Corey's baby, as we like to call it. Follow us on Instagram because our friend and your friend, Corey Favs, puts out just some of the most hilarious, funny reels out there. Again, some of these things are getting millions of views, not exaggerating there. Head over to Instagram and follow at Empire State of Baseball. You can follow us individually at Corey Favs, at JR Pugs, at Rich J. Rivera, and at T. Wospil. A lot of fun Yankee Met related stuff, some New York City related stuff. Corey put out a reel about traffic on the BQE like a month ago, and I get alerts about that thing. There is some kind of wild comments and people arguing about the city going on, city politics getting discussed on the Empire State of Baseball Instagram account, but then some general baseball stuff as well. It's a real grab bag. It's fun stuff. So head over there and check us out.
All right. And so we got to our finale now, which will be our 250 plus subscriber giveaway. And we're going to reveal the winners right now for these two cards. All right. So the first one that we were giving away was the Met Brett Beatty signed card. It was 112 out of 150. I have it right here for everybody. As you can see, I will be mailing it out. So we'll announce the winners now. All you got to do, we'll message you or try and get in contact with you. We'll send it in the mail for you, and we'll go from there. So without further delay, the winner of our first giveaway for the Brett Beatty autograph card is King David. Congratulations. You have won. I believe he follows us on YouTube and Twitter as well. So we'll contact you, King David, in case you're not watching right now. You have won the Mets Brett Beatty card. Congratulations. We really appreciate the support and the love from David and everybody else. The second card, whoop, that's the first card again. The second card was the Oswald Peraza autograph card as well. Topps Chrome Sapphire. It was out of 199, so a little bit higher pop on this card. But the winner of this one is Erica Garcia, who is a big fan of the show, big acquaintance of the show. Erica has won the Oswald Peraza card. She will also be sent it as well. We thank Erica for her support and her continuation. And listen, we thank everybody in the chat. I know a lot of people were looking for it. You know, we had almost an even number of entries. I think we had 16 or 17 entries for the Mets card and 18 entries for the Yankee card. So really even support across the board from everybody. We'd like to thank all of you. We're on the road right now 100%. To 500 subscribers on Twitter, on YouTube. We're really looking to get to that mark and push to that mark. So any support that you guys throw us is fantastic. And if you guys know David or Erica, I haven't seen either of them in the chat today. If you guys know them and reach out to them and tell them they've won before we get to them, that will help as well.
Yeah, no, congratulations to both of them. And congratulations, like Joe said, to everyone. Thank you again for all your support. And pretty sure that was probably our most commented YouTube video as well. So, you know, we'll definitely be doing stuff like that again in the future. So keep listening, keep telling your friends to subscribe, and more giveaways to come. Real quick, just want to give a general update. Next Monday will be episode number 82. That'll be on April 29th, our typical time slot, 8 p.m. EST. Rich should be back from the West Coast, assuming he doesn't get too lit out there in Napa Valley and doesn't find his way home. So he'll be returning to us. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the show. We had a nice little tripod tonight, guys. So we'll do a little bit of a round table. Tom, who do you got to thank tonight?
You know, I don't know. I hate going first on the thank yous. I need to start a petition. Stop asking Tom first. I had to think about it. I got nothing. I was at a wedding on Friday. One of my best friends got married. Is the best man for it. So congratulations again to Brian, Melissa Brian, a good Yankee fan. So
we need a copy of that speech.
A-Rod gets mentioned in the speech.
Nice. We need a hard copy of that speech. It needs to go on here, and we need to play it. Listen, thank you to New York sports right now. This is the first time 100%. In a long time New York sports is lit. I don't like the Rangers particularly, but the Rangers are in the playoffs. The Knicks are in the playoffs. The Mets and Yankees are playing well right now. So New York sports, for the first time in a long time, has had a very successful few weeks, and it's getting fun. The Knicks and Rangers are up 1-0. The Garden's lit, and that's that's a great thing for our show and all of New York.
100%. That was my thank you as well. And we got the NFL draft this week as well. So really great time to be a sports fan in the city of New York. But thank you again to everyone for listening in tonight. Really was a great show. Congratulations again to our winners of the giveaway. And thank you, gentlemen, for hosting with me this evening. But that'll give it a wrap. That is it. Episode number 81. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care.